back, relax, and maybe get yourself a snack. Me and you gonna have a little chat about books. Hey guys! So I am here today to do a book haul because I have recently been sent quite a few books and I wanted to share them with you. So let's just dive on in and get started. The first book I was sent by a publisher, and that is the new David Hare book. This is actually by David Hare and Kath Mayo. It's called Athena's Champion and I believe it's based in Greece. Prince Odious of Ithaca is about to have his world torn apart. He's travelled to the oracle at Pytho to be anointed as heir to the island kingdom, but instead the Pythia reveals a terrible secret, one that tears down every pillar of his life and marks him out for death. Odysseus is offered sanctuary by Athena, goddess of wisdom, and thrust into the secret war between the Olympians for domination and survival. Only his wits and the skill as a warrior can help keep him ahead of their power games and alive. So it draws on ancient Greek mythology, and I love Greek mythology. I'm actually reading a book right now which is by Stephen Fry called Mythos, and it's narrated by him on Audible, so I'm listening to it. And it's absolutely fascinating. It's all of the Greek mythology kind of retold in chronological order with a lot of Stephen Fry's satirical humour added in, and it's so interesting. So I think this book will definitely be one I'll read not too long after that, because I'll have it all fresh in my mind who everyone is and what they represent, and then I'll go into this fictional story where I'm sort of kind of being told about adventures and having a good old time. So I'm definitely looking forward to this, and this one was sent to me by Canelo, so very happy to have this. I also really like David Hare. If you guys don't know, his series, The Moontide Quartet and The Sun Surge Quartet, are both really interesting to me and I've loved them, so I hope I'll like this one as well. And I've not read anything by Kath Mayo yet, but always a good time to start. Next up is a book I was kindly sent by the author. He reached out to me and then the publisher sent it to me, and this is book number 2 in a series. It's called Cold March. The first one in the series is Cold Maker, and I really enjoyed Cold Maker. I picked it up quite a while ago now, about a year ago, when I was down in Bath on holiday, and it's a story that involves sort of heat and cold as powers. It's really fascinating, and I've done a full review, so if you're interested I'll link that. But this is the second one and I can't wait to get back to the world and find out what happens next. There's going to be a lot of adventure, I think, and it was left on quite a cliffhanger if I remember, so I'm super keen to get back to this. Next up I have a new book. This is an ARC copy of Joanne Harris's The Blue Salt Road. I believe this is a kind of modern fairy tale. It simply says a story of love, loss, revenge and adventure on the high seas, and it comes out in November, mid-November, so I'm quite intrigued about this one. It is fairly short, as you can see, and I think it must have something to do with mermaids or whales and ships. I'm not really sure, but I'm definitely intrigued. I've not actually read any Joanne Harris yet, although I do like her when I've seen her at events. She seems really lovely, so I hope that I will like this book. I will let you guys know what I think. As I say, it's fairly short, so maybe I can bump it up my TBR slightly. Next up is a book that I ordered for myself as a kind of birthday book, and it didn't arrive in time, but it's here now, and that is Nevermore, The Trials of Morrigan Crow by Jessica Townsend. This one is a book that I've heard endless reviews, rave reviews from all of my friends about, and I obviously thought it's time to pick it up. I actually bought this for my brother when it first came out, before it had all this hype that it now has, and he really enjoyed it, so I thought, you know what, it's time I got myself a copy, and I've since read this book and really enjoyed it. Definitely intrigued and excited to see where the sequel goes. I can see why many people kind of compare it to Harry Potter, although it does feel quite distinct, and we follow a cursed child called Morrigan Crow who is whisked away into Nevermore when her fate turns bad, and there she discovers this amazing city, this town of Nevermore that is quite bizarre, very magic infused and super cool. So I really like this, and I will definitely be reviewing it very soon, if not already, because I have already read it and I loved it. Next up I have 3 books that were sent to me by the author, and that is these 3. So we actually have a short story collection, I believe, which is called Soulstone's Book 0 by T.L. Branson. So this is a collection, I think, of short stories all set in the world. Yes. Midnight Blade, King's Bane, Ashen Steel and Sentinels of the Stone. They're all to do with the Soulstone series, and they're kind of like a prequel, I suppose, or sort of extra stories that kind of just flesh out the world. So I've not read this yet, but I have actually read the first novel in this series, and that is this one, Soul Render. I have done a review of this. It is going to be up by the time you see this, hopefully, and I will let you guys know a bit more in that review what I thought of it, but I really enjoyed it, and I definitely think if you like magic and Sanderson, then you're probably going to like this sort of thing as well, because it's very much in the same vein, and it's fun, and I really enjoyed it. So I was happy to have a physical copy of this. And then the author also very kindly sent me the next one in the series, which is called Soul Shade. So I've not read this one yet, or the prequel, but I definitely intend to get to both of them sometime soon, because I liked the first one a lot. And I gave it 4 out of 5 stars the first, so hopefully I will also really like this. Next up is a book I ordered for myself that finally turned up. It took weeks to turn up because I bought it secondhand and I think it came from America, but that is this one, Palace of Impossible Dreams, which is book 3 in the Tide Lord series by Jennifer Fallon. I've already reviewed this. If you're interested, I will link it. I really enjoyed the series on the whole, so happy to have a physical edition of this book, and I do think it's very pretty actually, this one, so certainly a lovely cover. Next up I have a new book which is, I think, water-based, because it says The Oyster Thief by Sonia Farouk. I might be saying that wrong. If I am, apologies. Coraline is a mermaid who is engaged to the merman of her dreams, but when an oil spill wreaks havoc on her idyllic village life, her little brother falls gravely ill. Desperate to save him, she embarks on a search for a legendary elixir made of starlight. Izar, a human man, is on the cusp of an invention that will enable him to mine the depths of the ocean. His discovery will soon make him the richest man on Earth, while threatening the merpeople with extinction. So why I accepted this book, even though I'm not a huge fan of mermaids, is because it sounds like it actually is going to deal quite heavily with the idea of environmental pollution and safety, and that's something you don't really see very often in fantasy, so I was intrigued enough by that to pick this one up. I do think there will be romance, obviously, and it's probably going to be a fairly different kind of mermaid book, so I'll let you guys know what I think of it, but I do think the beautiful iridescent cover is lovely and I'm intrigued about it. And then the final one I got is a book that was sent to me by Penguin Random House. This is huge, and it is this, Art and Arcana, a visual history for Dungeons and Dragons, and it's by Michael Whitwer, Kylie Newman, John Peterson and Sam Whitwer, and this, as you probably can guess, is a compendium of all of the art and arcana that is kind of most influential, I suppose, for the Dungeons and Dragons game throughout the ages. Now, I have never played Dungeons and Dragons, but when they offered me this book and it had dragons on the front cover and it was obviously an art-based book, I said, yes, please do send it to me because I'm super intrigued about it. I've never played D&D only because I've never been able to find a group to play it with. I would certainly love to try it sometime. It sounds absolutely super fun, but yeah, I don't have a group. So for now, this book is going to be what I consume and see if I like it. As you can see, it's got really pretty end papers, and then the artwork is quite scary in some cases. I will say it's kind of sexualized quite a lot, so beware. And there's a lot of like maidens getting stuck in things, or men getting stuck in things, according to this one, and creepy stuff. But some of it's really cool, and dragons and that sort of thing. So I'm happy to have it and very intrigued to read it. I don't think there's an awful lot of text. I think it's definitely more picture-based than text-based, but super intrigued about this one. So maybe if you've read D&D, you might want to get this, or if you know anything about it, you might be really interested in finding out a bit more. So that is everything that I have for this book haul. Thanks to everyone who sent me stuff, and I would love to hear in the comments what you guys are most interested in or what you've recently picked up yourself. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon in my next video. Bye guys!
Thank you for watching my video today. Go pick up a book, then come back and chat with me again.